Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm excited to share with you our curriculum picks for the 2019-2020 school year. We'll be doing preschool and kindergarten. Okay, we have a preschooler. Little dude is turning 4 in September, and we have a kindergartner this year. Squeaks is 5 years old, turning 6 in January. So time is flying by, and it's a very exciting time for us officially starting homeschool. So I had two main priorities when choosing our curriculum this year. I did not go with a box curriculum. Everything was chosen by me specifically for our family. So my main priority with our curriculum this year is to grow our children's faith, and that will always be my priority. I want them to have a strong knowledge, strong theology, strong knowledge of what they believe and why they believe it. And so everything that I chose is Bible-based. My second priority is reading. I want them to be as independent as they can be, to take control of their educations. So once they can read their math lesson and ask questions when needed, read their history lessons, ask questions when needed, and they can pick and choose what they want to study and then just grab a book and learn. So reading is my second priority. With those two things in mind, I chose our books for this year, and I'm excited to share them with you. I will be linking to each book on my blog post about this video, and you can find the link to that in the description of this video. So enjoy. Okay, let's start with reading. We are doing The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. This was by the folks from Well-Trained Mind. It's a classical education, comes highly recommended. So little dude will be starting with lesson 1, the vowel sound for A. And in each lesson, it tells you to get a blank index card and write some information on it. But if you go to their website, you can purchase already made index cards, which I prefer because then it gives the lesson for each card, and there's 40 pages of flashcards. So unless you want to do a whole lot of writing up front or a whole lot of writing on flashcards every week, then I just get the already made ones. It's a time saver. So this right here is the extent of the lesson on the vowel sound for A. It gives exactly what the instructor is supposed to say. Right here, see, it tells you, and it basically tells you what to expect your child to respond with. And it gives up some follow-up information, some pronunciation tips, and throughout the book there are multiple different activities that you can do for each lesson. So little dude will be starting lesson 1, vowel sound A, and we'll focus on one letter a week, and then move into basic reading at the end of the year. Squeaks will be starting all the way on lesson 40. That's another thing I love about this book, is that I can use it for both of them. It's full phonics curriculum. So she'll be starting with review for the short vowel sounds A, E, I, O, U, and U, and she'll be doing some basic reading. I wanted to start off real gentle with her again since we've taken a month or two off for the summer and she hasn't been in it as much. So then she'll move on to consonant blends, the CK combination, and a bunch of other ending blend combinations. Then by the end of the book, which I don't think we'll get to this year, we'll just keep using this book as long as it takes us. By the end of the book here, they're reading some pretty long words. In the last lesson, lesson 231, the final lesson, reading a really long and silly word, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So that's pretty fun. So that's our reading curriculum. And then the Well-Trained Mind, if you've read Jessie Weiss's book, The Well-Trained Mind, she also recommends a few early readers. And we did the Bob books last year, and Squeaks really loves them. They give her a lot of confidence. She's able to read through an entire book on her own. So if you've never seen inside a Bob book, they're pretty, they're very straightforward. The pictures are usually black and white with a tiny bit of color, but there they go. And I usually sometimes let Squeaks color in the rest if she finishes a book. It's kind of like a reward, but that's fun. So those go with our reading program. Okay, here's math for Squeaks for this year. Lessons for Living Education, level 1. It's Christian-based curriculum by Master Books. and it's very Charlotte Mason. There's a story. Well, here, let's look at the beginning first. Start at the beginning. Master Books does this really handy thing where they give you a timeline of how they recommend breaking down the lessons, and I very much appreciate that. This is pretty close to what we will be sticking to. Actually, we will be doing math every day, so this will be our timeline. Squeaks might fly through a few of the first pages, few of the first lessons, just because she's been doing really well with math. It's her favorite subject, but other than that, this very closely resembles how we will be working on this. So lesson 1, it follows the story of a brother and sister who are at their grandparents' farm for the summer, and they're learning life lessons and practicing math while they're doing it. So you start each lesson with a story, and then you do the exercise that corresponds with it. And each day you do a different exercise. And then on the last day, you write a review, basically the kids writing back to mom and dad to tell them what they learned that week. And then the next lesson starts with another story, and it applies to real life, which I really appreciate. It works in biblical teaching also, like when they get to skip counting by twos, it talks about Noah's Ark, talks about patterns in nature. They have them grow a little bean and watch it grow, so it incorporates even a little bit of science. But it's a very well-rounded curriculum. I've heard really good things about it, and I'm excited to start it with Squeaks. So that's her math book this year. And then for little dude, I'm keeping it super basic. We're gonna be counting and learning numbers and number sense, but he loves being outside to learn, so I stuck with that. We're gonna do, this one is very, very basic. It's super thin, but it basically gives, math activities that you can do all year long outdoors. Summer math. So, and then this one is for me to read and to kind of implement some of the projects in here with him. It gives lots of ideas on ways to do math outside. However, I didn't read the description fully before I purchased it because I was so excited about it, but I believe she's from England. So some of the measurements and things are metric in here, but that's okay. I can still glean a lot of the ideas from it and use them outside with little dude. Like I said, it's for me to read. It is a bit wordy. It's not a workbook for him. It's just for me to get ideas for activities for him to do outdoors to learn about math and numbers, things like that. So that's our math for this year. Here's what we're doing for science this year. Another one from Master Books. So it is a Christian curriculum. God's Design Life for Beginners. This covers plants, the human body, and animals. And we will not be getting through this book this year because we are only going to be doing science maybe 1 or 2 times a week. And this has, like the other Master Books, her math book, this one has a schedule at the front that has usually a minimum of 3 days a week, sometimes four times a week. So we probably won't get through this book this year, and that's fine. We're going to start real gentle with them, but it starts at the very beginning. Is it alive? Another Charlotte Mason design with some copywork, some tracing, some reading. Has a scripture to trace, and then you go outside to do a scavenger hunt. And then lesson coloring page on the back. And then lesson number 2, plant or animal. Some more tracing, some reading, nice bright pictures, coloring page. And then by the end, you're on animals. Yeah, so it gives a pretty good overview, but like I said, we're not going to be getting through this whole book. It's meant for kindergarten through 2nd grade. Those are the age ranges it covers, so it's fine if it doesn't finish this year. But I think the kids will enjoy that. Here are some science supplements I got for the year, just in case the kids do want to do a little bit more science than I have scheduled. These are both from Usborne. I'm not a consultant, but I really love their books. I used to be a consultant, but just couldn't give it the time it needed. But I still love their books. This is a nature activity book. It has tons of stickers in it, coloring, nice bright pictures. Talks about lots of different nature habitats and all kinds of things. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Squeaks is a huge fan of stickers, so that'll be fun. This one looks really cool. 365 science activities, 1 a day for a whole year. And they're very nice and simple. It gives the science behind every activity you're doing. They are basic materials lists, so nothing too fancy. So I might just have the kids go through and pick a few of these out that they want to do. And we'll have some fun. So those are our science supplements for the year. We are keeping it super simple for history and geography this year. Now, I'm not sure if you pronounce this beads or beaties, so somebody can comment below and let me know. But this is a very gentle introduction to history. It's meant to be done once a week. It's designed to be done once a week, which I appreciate. And it starts off teaching you about how time passes. So for my kids who are still mastering the days of the week, this is perfect. So we're not going to be going into anything too in-depth. But this is a nice, gentle introduction. It goes from how time passes, talks about your own family history, has you do a timeline basically in pictures with using some yarn and clothespins. I will obviously be doing the writing in the book, but Squeaks can narrate for me. And then it goes into some history of some major holidays. And at the back, it even gives some church history, which I really appreciate. So that's our history curriculum. And some of our read alouds are, older stories. We're going to be doing Farmer Boy and Charlotte's Web and a few others, some classics also. So we'll be covering different time periods, just not necessarily in workbook form. We're basically just going to be reading about them. So that's it for history. And then geography, again, keeping it very basic. Whenever Squeaks has a question or we encounter something in a book that we have a question about, we can reference this. Has different land masses, different bodies of water. Basically, very simple. It literally is geography A to Z. It's basically just a picture dictionary for those types of land masses. But whenever they have questions, we can reference this and then look somewhere else if we need a little bit more. But that's it for history and geography. And that's everything. I want to share a little bit about what we'll be doing for art this year. And I use that term loosely because I'm not big on pre-made art projects. I kind of just hand the kids some paints and some markers and paper and let them go at it. Or I create those invitations to play, the trays that I create. If you follow me on Instagram or have seen my blog post about those, that's the extent of my pre-made art activities. But these I'm very excited about. I've had this book for maybe a year or two now. It was a gift, and I'm excited to get started with it and show the kids some of the activities in here. It's 40 art projects and activities to spark children's storytelling. It's called Show Me a Story. And it's different tools to teach kids storytelling skills, and there's activities in here, how to use the things you make. It gives age ranges for each of them. See, this chapter is about story starters. I already have some of the supplies to create these story discs. I'm basically just going to ask Squeaks, what's her favorite food or what's her favorite animal, and create discs with those little images on them. And then here at the end, it gives you ways to use them. So for example, suggestion 1, lay several face down on a table, then flip them over one at a time and reveal the next piece of an ongoing story. And then it gives 2 more ideas. And then a few more down here, and I actually even bought this kind of box and I'm gonna stamp story on the top of it. So I think that'll be really fun for the kids. There's lots of ideas in here on ways to help them build stories. They learn the evolution of a story, kind of timeline. And if you have a kindergartner, you know they love telling stories, very long stories. So this will be fun for them. And then this one, Squeaks has been asking how to draw very specific things lately. So I think this one will be fun for her. It gives a book, they can draw right in the book. It gives very basic instructions. The pictures are super cute. And there's lots of different little things she can learn how to draw. Bugs and animals and flowers and sea creatures and all kinds of fun things in here. And I think she's really going to enjoy it. So that's pretty much what we have planned for art this year. So that's everything for the year. I'm going to do a separate video on what we will be doing for Bible time so that I can show you inside of our Bible Busy Binder. But if you have any questions, be sure to comment below and I will link to all of these resources on my blog. Thanks for watching.